explore HVAC and home services, where we uncover stories, strategies, and some secrets behind successful businesses. I'm your host, Miss Pam Mashburn, and today we're joined by two special guests, Marc Chard and Spencer Satorie of Apex Services. They didn't know each other, got into business, formed a partnership, and have been amazingly successful. Have acquired businesses, sold businesses, still have businesses in the HVAC space. I think we're going to all learn a lot today. So, welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Excited to be
having us.
here.
So, I met you guys a couple of years ago and was just talking to you about your story. And so, so it started with Spencer buying Mark's HVAC business, right? Is that how the partnership kind of started? Okay. Who
That's
want
how the relationship started.
a
Yes.
relationship? Okay. Tell us
And
about that. That's really interesting.
yeah. So in 2020, I had come across Mark's business from a business broker. I have my background's always been in real estate. I had my real estate license. I was flipping houses. I had 5 rental properties. That was my life. So at the beginning of 2020, I couldn't find a flip project, so I was looking for a business to buy in the construction industry. The first one I looked at wasn't a great fit, but that same broker brought me Mark's business when he listed it. So that's really how we originally got connected. They told me, hey, we got this great business. It's in the HVAC field. Owner says he works 5 hours a week and has really good
Okay,
profits.
wait, was that true, Mark? Did you work 5 hours a week?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Then we got to understand that too. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. So yeah, I proceeded forward, and that was I believe it was February when we first had an accepted offer, and then we moved into March and COVID. So
Yeah.
it took forever just to get through that deal. Banks weren't looking at deals at that time. It all switched to the PPP funds, and that's all they
Right.
wanted to focus on. So it took a while compared to normal. Uh, but Mark hung on, and we ended up closing in June. And yeah, that was our first introduction to each other, was going through that process together, where he was selling and I was buying. And then he really mentored me a lot in those, especially first few months, as it was the first time having employees, being in the HVAC field.
Yeah, because you had
There was
never done
a
anything with
lot.
HVAC, right? Because were you
Correct.
like more of an accountant? Wasn't that your
Yeah,
background,
I
was
have a
accounting?
business degree. So the business side of it, the budgeting, all that stuff just clicks for me. I still don't know a whole lot about HVAC. I couldn't go service your unit. I can't replace your unit. Uh, so yeah,
Which
it's
is
been an
interesting
interesting.
because when they talk about businesses, they say, like, if you're not willing, you need to know how to do every part of the business if you're buying a business, or be willing to. But you guys have made it work without that. Mark, why were you selling the business? I'm curious about that.
Yeah. So I started the company in 2004. Failed many times. Right. Uh, it just one chance to happen to me. One guy named Hansley Choir. Should have never happened. We met with him. Changed the directory of my business the way I was. That's how I got to work 5 hours a week, because I was working 95 hours a week in the business. So did that. What happened was I was working 5 hours a week, and the problem was I became bored, and I wanted to buy another company. And so I looked around my area. I couldn't find any companies for sale. Today, we still cannot find companies for sale in our area. We still look. We're always looking,
Is
but
that
in our area,
Nebraska? Originally, it's
yeah,
Nebraska, right?
yeah.
Okay.
In that area, you just don't find them. They go out of business, whatever they do, instead of trying to sell them or whatever. So I was looking around, and I was talking to my wife. I was like, "Hey, our kids are getting older. What do we think our plan is in 5 years?" So I didn't think the business would sell that fast. So it's like 5 years. Hey, the kids will be out of high school. We're going to move to Florida. We always go to vacation in Florida. I like Florida. We're going to retire to Florida. Great. I'm going to look for a business in Florida. So look for business in Florida. I found some. I started dealing with banks, and they're like, "Well, you can't. We can't do this if you're going to live in Nebraska and run a business in Florida." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "But I can do it." And so
Right.
anyway, so it came down to
I
it.
think there's
I'm
a
like,
lot of people
okay,
that do that. So I'm surprised to
yeah.
hear
So I'm
that.
like, okay, all right. So I'm going to move to Florida. So I tell them I'm going to move to Florida, and I'll buy this business. Oh, what are you doing the business in Omaha? You can't have a business in Omaha and do we can't fund that. I'm like, okay, don't tell me what I can't do. What can I do? So I talked to my wife, and I'm like, I have thoughts. Let's put the business up for sale. It'll take a couple of years. I don't think it's going to sell right away. It'll take a couple of years. We'll just keep building it, and then we'll get a place in Florida, and we'll get a business in Florida. Well, my business was on the market for less than 2 weeks, and then Spencer bought it, basically. So then I was like, oh. So then what happened is once he took over, I put a contract in a company in Florida. It took that over in September of 2020, and we went from there. I was talking with Spencer we met every month, going over things. And we just happened to have a conversation. And he's like, I'm looking to expand and buy companies. I'm like, well, I want to keep buying companies. So we sat down and we had a discussion. We're like, we work well together. You're good in business. I'm good at HVAC. I understand that technical side. You're the business guy. Can we work well together? Scary thing. I still tell people today, do never do a partner. Not that me and Spencer don't get along, but it's very tricky. So anyway, so we sat down and we wrote our vision out. He wrote his vision out. I wrote my vision out. We swapped. We looked at them. They were the same. Like,
Oh,
okay,
really? So
at
you
least we
did it
both have the same
independently.
vision. Yes, we
Okay.
did it independently. So then we're like, we have the same vision and we can make it work. And it has worked out for us. It has. It's basically because no matter what, we'll have disagreements. It would sound like we agree on everything we want to do. But we both know that I know Spencer's best, his thoughts are what's best for the company. He knows my thoughts are what's best for the company. It's not what's best for me or best for him. So, but anyway, so from that point, we partnered up in 2022. And then we just kind of, our goal was to buy one company a year for 10 years. And Spencer can go from there if he
Yeah.
wants to.
Yeah. It's funny he brings up that partnership thing. I mean, it's a lot like a marriage, the give and take, the constant communication. Marc's favorite thing to say to people is don't go into business with your friends. They always ask, are you and Spencer, were you friends before? And his response is always the same. No, we're not friends. So I always get a big kick. It's like we talk every day. We're whatever.
No, that's funny.
So it's kind of funny, but yeah, in 22, we partnered out with that goal. We're going to buy one business a year for 10 years. We failed to close on anything in 2022, but we were under contract for two businesses. So we were able to close in January of 2023 on our first two acquisitions for our partnership. And then we closed on another one in April. Then we closed on three more in December of 2023. So we did 5 acquisitions that year.
Wow.
And then 2024.
And nobody lived in Florida.
We did not live in Florida. And all of these acquisitions were in Florida. And then we in 23, started a location in Lakeland from scratch. And then we did an acquisition in July and another one in August, all in 2020.
How many is that? I lost count.
2024. We did together as a partnership, we did 7 acquisitions.
7 acquisitions.
And then started that one from scratch.
And then you already had your other one.
I think it was more than that. We had Fort Myers, Sarasota, Charlotte, Clearwater, Port Richey, Tampa, Lakeland, Kissimmee. That's 8 locations. Plus we merged in a couple others, like the one we bought in Clearwater, we merged it in with Clearwater. So that was 9. Yeah, I think 9 or 10. Anyway, it's up there.
Okay. I want to be like y'all that I don't even know how many businesses I have. One day.
I know the one we're working on now is our 10th. So
okay, 10. Okay.
Okay. Well, he is the business guy. He's the numbers guy, right?
That's right.
So, yeah. Yep. Well, okay, y'all, that sounds, I'm just, I have my own business and I've had it for 20 years and I am incredibly risk adverse. Like I'm real conservative. I don't have any debt in my business. And y'all are like total opposite. You're like, we're buying 2 a year. I mean, y'all, and you don't live there. And okay, so how did you minimize the risk in your mind? Like, is it getting the right people in place? Like, tell me about that.
I think the easy answer is systems and processes. We, generally speaking, the companies we were acquiring were, there was a lot of room for improvement, I guess is probably the best way to word it. So when we went in, they had good customer bases. They had a good reputation, decent Google ratings, most of them. So it was really just about hiring the local supervisor and training them on our systems and processes and implementing it at that location.
Really
But
keep the oh, go ahead, Mark.
but I will say one thing. The first one that I bought in Clearwater had a Google rating of 3.1.
Mm,
Okay. So it's a matter of we look at a company and we know what we're going to do with it, right? We already know. We have never not doubled the company in the first year over its last year before we purchased revenue
wow.
wise. We've doubled every single one. But the thing
Doubled
was, is like
profit or
Clearwater,
doubled revenue or both?
more than doubled revenue
Doubled
because they
revenue.
weren't making any
Profit
money.
is, yeah, profit's usually 3 to 4 times because they were
Yeah,
Wow.
struggling. So,
they were struggling. So,
Wow.
like the one in the Clearwater was the one we bought the first time. They had a Google rating of 3.1. Most people would run. I looked at
Most
the guts and
marketing
I'm like,
agencies would run. Like, a
they
lot
would
of
run. And
agencies
so
won't take them if they're less than 4, so
I remember pulling in the vendors and talking to the vendors, and they're like, "Why did you buy? You know, this company has a bad reputation." And I go, "Yeah, I see the 3.1 Google ratings, but I also see a lot of things you don't see. They have a customer base of 70,000.
whoa, that's really
Yeah,
big.
70,000 in their customer base." I said, "And you know what? They still run a lot of calls, so they still have a lot of customers that like them. They do a horrible job at reputation management. It's not that they were that bad. It's just that they didn't care when people reviewed them. They didn't monitor it." I'm like,
Mhm.
"So you guys you've assessed that." And then they had high pressure sales, like everything, their techs were high pressure. And so we eliminated that. But it was like, so we always know we buy a company. If we can't improve, we don't feel we can improve the company, we're not going to buy it because it
Gotcha.
doesn't make any sense. So,
So it's not just the acquisition. So how
yeah.
much time do you guys personally, like, have to be there when you acquire a business? Like, is it the first 6 months you've gotta be hands-on, or I'm gonna probably die when I hear your answer. Okay, go ahead.
You probably
so
will.
the first few acquisitions, we were there for about a week. Sometime when Mark first bought Graham, I think you were there for a month.
Yeah. A
Am I
month.
remembering that correctly? So, uh, but once you have roots and some stability in your leadership in that area, it goes a lot faster. So the last few that we did in 2024, I think we were there for 2 days,
Oh, wow.
hands on, the two of us. So, and a lot of that is just getting the buy-in from the employees that are there, trying to keep them on board. Generally speaking, they're working for a company that was failing. They like the freedom that the previous owner gave them to do what they want on the call, run it how you see fit, produce what you produce, and they kind of control their, they're at the helm controlling the ship. So when we come in, the culture difference, generally speaking, the employees don't work out. The field employees don't
Right.
work out. Most of the office people love it because they're so used to being ran over by the technician that, oh, I don't want to run that call. I'm not going to be there at 8. I'm going to be there at 10. Like
Oh my
all those
gosh,
little
yeah.
things. So they love it, most of them. When we come in and no, we demand that you're there at 8 if your call's at 8, and we hold the techs accountable to doing what they're supposed to do. And that puts a lot less pressure on the admin staff.
So, yeah, so what kinda turnover do you guys usually see? It's probably pretty high.
Field wise,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, really?
We turn over every technician pretty much because once again, they were running the show and now they're not running the show. They're set to a standard. And like, and when we don't have a problem with the on the technician side, we want to keep the office people though. We really, because they know all the secrets. They know all the customers. They know if there's a problem, they can tell me about the problem more than the technician can or that
Huh,
customer. So to
yeah.
us, the office people, what's the phrase, Spencer? Say that the the little lady, not
Yeah.
whatever. I forget what it is.
I
Okay,
don't
so the
remember, but
basically,
they're the ones that know all the skeletons. They know more about what's going on with the
Yeah.
business than the owner does. The actual customers, the problems that they've had, they remember
Because they're
everything.
hearing it on both sides,
Yes.
right? They're hearing it from the field and yeah, they know it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you try to keep the admin folks. Um, any of them not have any of these acquisitions not gone the way, like, did they surprise you? Like, you came in and you went, "Oh, I thought it was gonna be this way."
hmm, I'll tell you the things we want to avoid in
There's
the future.
always surprises, but
The things we want to avoid in the
go
future is
ahead.
don't buy a company that doesn't have service software. We bought one that didn't have service software. They're all paper invoices. That was a nightmare getting
Oh,
that entered. So I wouldn't. So any HVAC companies, plumbing, anybody, you better have service software because you need to be able to transfer that information.
so do y'all change it all over to a standard? Like, do y'all keep a standard, Service Titan or House Call Pro or something like that with all of them?
We do, yeah. And there's
Yeah.
our goal is that we could take a technician from any location and put them in a different one, and they could operate because everything is the same. So
Wow.
uh, all the price books are the same across all the locations. The process is the same, so it should be no difference other than they call the local manager instead of the manager at their other location. So uh, yeah.
Y'all ever have people switch? Like, do you ever send people down because there's a shortage here or anything like that?
A lot of times in the beginning, it happens a lot more when we first do that
Uh-huh.
acquisition. If we don't have enough techs to run calls, we might bring somebody over to assist from a different location. Uh, so yeah, it happens. It happens a lot more on the install side, where if there's
Hmm.
always ups and downs in every location, there's ups and downs. So when this one's up, we
Right.
would transfer installers over to help them keep up and back and forth. So
That's cool. So, okay, you've got to have a really strong operations person then. That sounds like you're training up and bringing in. So, how do y'all like get that person lined up before the actual acquisition goes through, or do you wait until the acquisition comes and then find someone? How do y'all do that? Because the biggest complaint I hear from people is there's nobody good out there. Can't find anybody good.
well, the only thing I would say is you're never going to find the perfect person. So if you're waiting for that, you'll never find somebody. It's about finding somebody who cares enough to keep trying. So we generally would hire that person ahead of time and try to
Okay.
put some training in, even if it's just a week or two. So they're familiar with us, they're familiar with our process. So when we go in, they're already part of our leadership team when we get introduced to the techs and the other employees already involved in that acquisition.
So, how do you guys get them trained? Do you send them off to get trained? Do y'all take them to one of your other facilities to get trained with another operations manager, or do you, Mark or Spencer, like go through here's or give them a book? What do you
Kind
do?
of all that, all of what you said. Depends on what we have. Like when we had multiple locations in Florida, we would send them to another location and say, learn from this person, do it. We would go in. We have our stuff we go over. Um, yeah, and we have training videos and stuff that we give them. But all of those things. But like on our new one, like since we sold the private equity and we have one in Texas under contract and we hopefully closing in the next few weeks, we are going in and we got some people going with us. So
Okay. So, so most of your acquisition is because you want to eventually sell it, like turn it around and sell it. Is that primarily what, like, is that the
That
game plan or does it
that's a
change?
great question. That was never our plan
yeah.
Oh,
to
really?
sell. That was never our plan. So when we got through 2024, we had done those somewhere between 7 and 9, 7 acquisitions. Then we went into 2025. We went in 22, we did about 3 million, or almost 3.5 million in total sales. In 2024, we did 15 million in
Wow.
total sales. And we were not ready on a leadership standpoint for that growth. Mark and I were the bottleneck. So we put a plan together to alleviate that problem. Uh, but it was very clear we were going to be where we were for at least 12 months as we were building up leadership teams and getting tasks removed from Mark and myself.
Right.
We were just going to be stagnant for a while, and that we were just approached at the right time. So we put that plan together. All right, this is what we're going to do. And then we got approached by that private equity firm, which when you get to that size, you get approached all the time.
I bet you do.
But
Yeah.
and we like to take those phone calls, even though we never planned to sell, because it's what can I learn to set my business up better to make it more marketable in the future? And what are we missing? What are we not doing that we should be doing? So we always learn something from them. I'd like to think they learned something from talking to us. So once we arrived at that plan at the beginning of 2025, we got approached by a private equity firm. They were giving us a lot of money. I mean, that was really the thing that kind of tipped the scale, let's really consider this. And if we do this, we can negotiate being able to still work in other parts of the country. We can hit the reset button, learn from our failures, and do it better, and not get stuck up on this 15 million. Let's build a plan with what we already had. We had the plan of what we needed to do. Let's implement that from the beginning as we move forward. So I'm not saying we would never sell it again, because we did it once, and I used to say we won't sell. So it's always on the table. I mean, it is an asset, so it's always on the
It's an
table.
asset. That's right. Well,
So
if it gives you the capital to go and do some other things, and I do love the whole reset. I'm curious, like at our company, we run using the EOS system. You guys use some sort of managerial system within your company?
that is awesome. Yes, that was one of the key things that we had in our 1 year plan, was to fully implement the EOS, the traction.
Yeah.
We are now meeting quarterly with the EOS coach. So we've implemented that side of it. We're doing the whole list. We do the weekly level 10 or the IDS
Yeah, we
meetings.
do
We
that.
do one-on-ones weekly. We do morning huddles. And then we do the quarterly meetings and the monthly all team meetings. So we really dove into the EOS side of things, and that has really helped build up our current leadership team that we've put in place since selling. And we're more ready for an acquisition right now than we've probably ever
Oh,
been.
really?
So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we started EOS maybe 10 years ago, but we were so small at the time that I didn't have a proper leadership team or whatever, but it grew our revenue so fast that we kind of grew into EOS, and so, but it's a game changer, because there's no way to tame the chaos without it, I think, you know,
Yeah.
as you get bigger. Did y'all find it was hard to delegate to elevate? Because you had mentioned that before. Like, was that difficult for you guys? Because you're both like go getters.
That it's always a work in progress. So I think we've both gotten better, and truthfully, the partnership part of it helps, because when I'm like, hey, I could just go do this, Mark's like, no, we need a different solution. It can't be you.
Right.
And then when same thing with Mark, when he's like, oh, I'm going to jump in and do this. No, we need a different solution. It can't be you. So that has really helped. Uh, and truthfully, if we weren't 1,500 miles away from the business, we would have been way more involved.
Oh, I'm sure.
So that distance really did help. But once you get to a certain size, that even the leadership portion of it, you still have to delegate a lot of that leadership. And that was the part we
If you
were
want to
struggling
move
with.
as fast as y'all are moving,
Yeah.
if you want to move as fast as you are moving, yeah, you've got to. And I think it's easy when you're really capable as a leader, but also as a hands-on kind of person, to just go, I'm just going to do this. Like, I can't wait for that person to get it on their priority list. I'm just going to dig in and do it. And then you've lost that freedom of only working 5 hours a week, which
Yep.
from a mentor, I want you to be my mentor, because I'm working a lot more than 5 hours a week.
That was the problem when we had 9 locations. It was 5+ hours at each
Times,
location. So there was like,
yeah.
and
So,
it's like,
so you finally got a 40-hour week. Wow.
yes, yes, but yes, that was what part of the issue we ran into. So yep.
I love that. So, I'm curious about because I know I talk to people all the time and they're like, oh, if you hear of a business that, is struggling, let me know. I have so many people that tell me that. Fortunately, most of the people that approach us are not struggling. They're just trying to grow. But when you guys have did y'all keep the same branding? Like Apex was your umbrella, but did you like when you acquired the businesses, did you keep the branding? Did you freshen it up? Did you change it? What was your approach on that? I'm just curious on the marketing side.
Yeah. Well, the first one in Florida, we left it. And then when we acquired every location, we just changed the name to that name. So that we didn't so and that went smooth. Everyone's like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." We didn't. As long as your service is the same or better than what they had, the name doesn't matter. They just remember, okay, yeah, you're part. We just say we merged, and that's that. Um, I would say on this new location that we have undergoing, we've worked on it. We've got a new brand, marketing. I'm more like Spencer said, we're more prepared for this one than anyone ever, any location ever, I would say.
And this the Lakeland, Florida, the new one, or
A
a new
new
No,
acquisition
acquisition
you're
that
getting?
we're in
the new
Texas.
one in Texas.
Oh my gosh, I can't keep up with you guys. Got so
Yes.
much going on.
We can't do any work for Florida for a while. It's under our non-compete, but we
Oh,
can in
okay, because of the
Texas.
sales.
Yes. And so
Okay.
that's part of the deal too. When people sell to private equity tells people they can't do deals anywhere. Well, we wouldn't bend on that. So we gave them the radius that we would agree to, but the rest of it were good. And so Texas is outside that. So yep, because they knew our intention was to keep going.
So did you that's interesting. So you guys have nothing in
Correct.
Florida anymore. But
Correct.
didn't you just move to Florida?
Yep. I moved to Florida last June. We sold June 1st. I bought this house on June 4th.
That is so funny.
Yep.
Y'all kill me. Now, where's home for you,
I live
Spencer?
in Missouri, so it's Big Lake, Missouri. It's about an hour and a half from the Omaha office.
Okay. Okay. So, and that's where
Uh,
you've always been, right?
it is
Is
not.
that where you've
No,
always been
I
located?
also moved there
Oh,
eh, right after selling. So um, I actually lived in Omaha, uh, graduated from high school in Omaha, went to the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. So I am a Husker. And then my
okay.
wife's from Missouri Valley, Iowa. So her parents lived there. We lived there for a long time. So 7, 8 years or so.
Oh, nice.
It
It's nice
is.
to
Yeah.
get close to family. Yeah, different family. So, I'm looking at I've totally gone off script, but I'm gonna look back at my notes here. Um, yeah, this is a great question. Um, when you're acquiring these businesses, do you give them any kind of like their own identity, autonomy, or do y'all just basically say, "This is the way we're doing it. This is the standardization. We know this works." You know, what's your approach on that, or do you ease into it? I have a feeling y'all don't ease into it.
Well, we tried to ease in
No.
on the first one in Florida, and it didn't go well. Uh,
Oh,
so we learned from that mistake,
oh,
and now it's a hard fast. This is what we're doing. This is our processes. We expect you to start this today, uh, and it is a really big bump on day one, but then you get over that and you start to build. Where as you ease into it, there's a lot of, oh, this is how we used to do it. This is how we're trying to do it. And the whole thing's bumpy. There's no real direction. Everybody's all over the place. Uh, so we have found
yeah,
it's just easier, it's smoother if we just rip that band-aid off and go full throttle on our
gotcha.
process.
I think that's great. I think that's hard, and I commend you guys for that. It's not easy. Um, so hey, tell us like it sounds like you guys have really made these successful. A lot of people that listen to the podcast are, I have a lot of family owned businesses and stuff. And I'm curious, like, what metrics are you guys measuring? Like, what are some of your what's some of your advice to make your business more marketable? There's two questions there. We'll take the first one. What are some of the measures that you guys like, set up for these businesses? How do you because you're remote, so you must have a great scorecard to see if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. What are some of the key things that y'all measure?
Well, we have a huge data of information, right? 22 years basically. But so we kind of know how many calls we run, how many
Hmm.
opportunities we have per calls ran, what our close rate is, what it should be. So when we talk to people, we're like, we have 30,000 calls worth of data, and we have a spreadsheet that shows 15,000 or so calls, and we show like, look, this in 1 minute, so many calls, this is what happens, and this happens, and this happens. So those are kind of our KPIs, and that's the standard we hold guys to. And it's been true forever. Like, it doesn't matter. People are like, well, that's not going to work forever. Yeah, it is. It's worked forever.
Yeah,
It'll keep going.
the big
So
KPIs would be our revenue per call, which our minimum standard is 800, but typically we are above $1,000. And then our leads, our equipment replacement leads per call, we have averaged 1 in 6.3 calls is a lead.
Wow.
Yes, yeah,
That's
and
really
it's
good.
been that way for years. So, and then we typically our close rate is the other one. So, 70% is kind of our standard. We are able to achieve higher than that quite often. I will say it used to always be 90, and then as equipment prices started rising, it's kind of fallen down towards that 75 to 80. But our revenue per call stayed the same. So we closed a few less jobs, but our jobs were much bigger. So that it kind of was an offsetting thing for us. Uh, and then, yeah, so usually about 1 in 8 to 1 in 10 calls that we run ends up in an equipment replacement of some sort. And then the last one would be our calls per tech per day. So we always shoot for somewhere between 3 and 4. If we end up above 4, it ends up being a negative. They rush through the calls. They don't give the customer their full attention. So the level of service goes down and production goes down if they're running more than 4 consistently. But obviously, we got to maintain a revenue. So getting them in at least 3 houses a day is the goal per technician.
That's really cool. In my business, I struggle with capacity and keeping people at capacity and not over, not under. And y'all's is so simple. I wish mine was as simple as that. So, and I think that's the beauty of what you guys have done is you've set up a system that's easily measured and that you can basically hold people to a standard no matter if they're in Florida or Texas or wherever, right? So that's really cool. At what point when you're looking at the KPIs do you go, this is not the right person? I've got the wrong person, right person, right seat. How do you decide that? Or how quickly do you move on it?
that's a good one. Well, I don't ever think we're at fault too. We're not strict enough. We give a lot longer time sometimes than we should. So it's
Yeah.
a tough one. It's just falling within the standards, and then how we handle it,
Uh,
and how our team
I
handles
do
it.
like Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, just in how our team handles it too. We try to tell them it's not an easy thing to do, but we have to do it. I mean, we train them. If their numbers are low, we bring them in, we train and stuff. But at some point, it's when is it time to move on? And we just try to get our team to be better about that. And it's tough. We tell them it's not easy. It's not easy to tell someone that you have to let them go.
Yeah,
and our pay
that's a tough one.
structure, our goal is always to be the best at paying, like having the highest pay in the market for our industry. That's always our goal. So we do pay commissions, and management makes commissions based off our gross margin. So when we're not doing well, they're not making great money. So if we're doing well, they're going to make phenomenal money. I think what was our number? 21 people in 6 figures. I can't quite remember in 2024, Mark.
Yeah, it was over 20 people that made over 100,000.
So, and
Yep.
they weren't all management. We
Yeah.
had, I think 5 or 6 of them were just technicians and or installers.
Technicians and
So they were just field
yeah.
guys,
Yeah, I think
but
that's
they were
great.
very, very good at running our process, staying consistent, providing that customer experience. So when you're not producing, you're not making as much money. So it is. I wish we were doing the EOS system in 2024 because we would have moved faster on some of the guys that were holding us back. They would have known I'm failing a lot sooner, and I think we
Yeah.
could have came to that realization much faster on both sides, them and us, that it's not a good fit. So
Yeah. That has been one of the things that EOS has really helped me with. Like, I don't get mad. I feel like I should do a seminar with people about how to say no. Like, you don't have to get mad to say no or to fire somebody. This is the standard. You've seen over and over that you're not hitting it, and so I need to release you to go find where you're going to be successful
Right.
because it's not here. And I'm not mad at the person. It's not that I don't like them. It's just it's not a fit, you know. And so when I that as a business owner and as a boss, it just makes it so much easier to come to work and not feel like you're like the hatchet man, you know. So I do love the EOS system and the 3-strike rule and all the stuff. Um, and I do like being one of the people that pays more in the market because that is a great way to keep people. Because I know you got to have a good culture and all that, but at the end of the day, they got to be able to feed their families. Um, I loved what you said earlier, Spencer, about someone who cares enough to keep trying. That's one of the things that you look for because they're not perfect. How much time do y'all spend training your people and just making sure that they're staying the right people in the right position?
A lot.
A lot.
In my mind, I think we train a lot, and we spend a lot on training, like having
Hmm.
things and sending people places, and it's a lot. I mean, I don't know, a lot. I hate when people say a
You
lot,
know,
but it's
uh,
it's a lot.
Yeah, that is not measurable. A
It's not
lot
well,
is not
exactly.
measurable.
That's what I tell my guys. They say, "When does that happen?" "Well, it happens all the time." That's not. I can't comprehend what you're saying.
yeah.
What's that
That's not
mean?
So
quantifiable.
Yes,
Well,
I
do
don't.
y'all
We don't
do
have it
like
broke down,
weekly?
but
Do you like weekly like little mini
yeah,
trainings and then like big
yeah.
trainings?
So
You send people off. Do you do it for your office and your
we
techs
try
and your
to
leadership?
get just starting from the field. We try to get our installers in a lot of the like new equipment training put on by the suppliers and those things, and they're involved in our. We do
Yeah.
a weekly training for the field guys, um, and that's usually about an hour, hour and a half. They do it Monday mornings, and it's kind of a hey, wake up! It's Monday.
Okay.
Let's get to work. So they focus a little bit on the soft skills, but a little more on the hard skills, just getting better technically in those trainings. And then we do the weekly one-to-ones. So we try to keep the one-to-one down to about 10 minutes where they review, hey, this is how you're doing. We've incorporated AI recording. So there's no guesswork in it. It's, hey, in calls, you're not doing these steps. Why aren't you doing it? Let's talk about it. Let's get better at it. So you're more comfortable to do it in the field. So we schedule an hour for those one-to-ones. So it's 10 minutes of reviewing, hey, this is what we talked about last week. How is that going now? This is what we're seeing this week.
Mm,
What do we need to do to improve? And then they spend that 45 minutes to 45 to 50 minutes role playing whatever they're struggling in individually on that call. They're going over, hey, how do we improve this? And that's just with the local supervisor. So there's 2 to 3 hours a week is for the field guys is what they're getting, and
I
then we
think
try
that's
to get
great.
all of them into a training where they're completely removed from the organization. So whether we send them down to
Hmm.
Montgomery, we've done some other things, but that's the big one. Uh, and going through the Everest training and getting the big part is getting them out of their normal day-to-day routine so they can really just focus on
Right.
getting better, learning. They get an opportunity to meet with people in doing the same thing they're doing every day across the country. So people in that
Right.
situation are usually more open about how things are going because it's not the guy down the street. It's a guy halfway across the country. He could share
Hmm.
everything with you. It doesn't affect either of you either in either direction. So, uh, and then, yeah, getting outside of your normal daily life so you can really focus on improving, I think is also very important.
Well, I know I've gone to some of those tech trainings and I'll talk to some of those guys and you can tell they just stand up a little taller because it's a privilege to have your company pay for you to go to training, away. And so, and after COVID, there were so many companies that quit doing that period. Like even in corporate America, everything became online training. So it is I think it's great that you guys invest in your people that way. How about your office people? You guys have any special training that you do with them, especially like your
We
call
do. Yeah.
center
I
people?
know, our call center and marketing manager spends, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with the one-to-ones. They're all fairly structured the same, where that it's 10 to 15 minutes and then you got 45 to 50 to really role play and train on their weaknesses and expand on their strengths. Uh, and then they do weekly get together, uh, to go through whatever the biggest topic is of the week for the team. And then we did join uh, Nexstar as well, mostly for their office coaching.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they have individual coaches for basically every role, and they do put on a lot more of that call center training, the dispatch training, marketing training. So they've been very good on that side of things. So we've sent people to their trainings for the dispatch and making sure the call board is there and you're getting the opportunity calls in, and having a healthy amount of opportunity
Right.
calls and not just filling it with 6-month-old equipment. And then they have the coach. So they're all meeting with their coach, and there's a coach for everything. Dispatch has their own coach. It's a customer experience coordinator or whatever the exact is. Uh,
Right. No, I think no, they have a
yeah.
stellar reputation. Now they're not didn't they last year did I read something that said Nexstar was no longer gonna be working with
Yes.
private
Yep.
equity
They did.
companies?
Yep. Yeah, there was. Yeah.
It had to be a
I
hard
know. I mean,
decision.
I thought that was I thought
But
there
from
was a
what
lot
I've
of
learned of
integrity with
private
that
equity, they
when
will
they did that.
take and take and take. So
Mhm.
if you offer a little bit, they're going to take a lot. So if, hey, I'm going to give a little discount on this training, they're going to try to get a big discount on the training, or get their whole team in there, or whatever it is. So I could see both sides of it, but it had to be a tough decision on their end to lose the revenue and just go back to that focus on
Mhm.
guys like us that are just trying to
Yeah,
figure it out
50% is a
and
lot.
don't have
Yeah,
gobs of money backing us up. So
right. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I I
I think
agree.
they were really looking towards the future. I thought it was a really interesting decision, and I thought there was a lot of integrity behind it. Maybe I'm a naive. Maybe there was more about money, but I thought there was some integrity there. Um, so, um, how has your life changed now after this PE
Yep.
sale? Because that's what a lot of, a lot of people, that's
Mm.
they're
No,
talking through their
I mean,
exit
there's always
strategy and
that,
stuff.
but
Um,
it was
any
never to stop,
regrets?
right?
Any wishes you
So
had done it differently?
comfort. So when Spencer and I first met, he's like, "Oh, here's the bank account." I said, "Spencer, I don't want to see
Right.
the bank account." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Because I treat every day like there's no money in the bank. Because if I think there's money in the bank," and so private equity, we got done with this deal, and we realized we're a little comfortable. What are we doing? Let's stop. Because then we got a little picky with the companies we're looking at, and companies we'd normally take a risk on. We're like, "Oh, no, I don't need to do that." And now we're like back to like, we're back. We're back. We're like, no, we're taking a risk, man, because we know we're going to do it. So that's how it changes. Yeah, a lot of guys will quit, but I can't. If we quit, if Spencer and I either quit, it'll kill us. Like I don't know if we can
I
ever
love
quit.
that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh. No, I know, I get that.
Right.
Yeah.
I
And
don't see
it was
myself
never
quitting my business either. I
a
might cut back
means,
to
it
5
wasn't a
hours a
means to
week,
an end for
but
us.
I'm
So I
not
think a lot
quitting.
of guys,
And I've heard,
they've built
Hans
this
talk
thing
about
up
that
over
too,
40
I don't
years
see
and
him
then they
ever
sell it to
quitting,
private
and I
equity.
get it.
So all the
Y'all
little
just have too
things
much
really
energy.
irritate them after the fact because now they're done working,
Right,
right? So, uh, now that we've exited Florida, we're moving into something else. So it's like those little
mhm,
things that come up that maybe would really be a big problem for some people. It's like, whatever, I'm going to focus on this new exciting thing that we have going on instead of the
right,
irritating things, uh, that I don't either, that I do or don't agree with that they're doing. It's out of my control. I just let it go and I move to focus on something else,
right.
something exciting. So,
Ooh, right, yeah. Is there anything that you would say, watch out for this? I heard
I
one,
would
which
say
was
definitely
if you're thinking of
interview a lot
continuing
of them.
forward, keep that
So
radius, right?
they don't all have the same
Um,
strategy
on the
in mind
non-compete.
when
Is
they
there any
buy.
other
So
like
trying to
watch
figure
outs
that
you'd
out
give
ahead of
someone?
time, as well as, do you just get along with them? I mean, we meet with them quarterly. We go over how they're doing. We give our input on, hey, these are things that we've done when we've experienced that. And they're receptive to it. I don't know that they take everything that we do, all of our advice, uh, but they're cordial about it and they accept our feedback. Um, yeah. So
Hmm.
interview a lot of them. I mean, like I said, we've always taken calls with them, so we had a pretty good idea. We did get offers
Your
from more
wisdom,
than
yeah.
one. The strategy for the one we decided not to move forward with, they they let go of a lot of the leadership and they move it in house to their plan is to buy it and hold it forever. A lot of them, it's to buy it and hold it for 3 to 5 years. So there's just a lot of different strategies that they use. So making sure you're aligned with their vision. If for us, we have family, we have a lot of friends. We've been through the fire with a lot of our leadership team in this growth uh, in Florida. So knowing that they were just going to let a lot of them go didn't sit well with either of us. So it was like, yeah, maybe they're offering a little bit more money. It's a full exit instead of we're still invested. It's not a good fit if they're going to come in and let these people go that have really
Hey,
helped us get to where we're at. Uh, so yeah, just making sure your vision and their vision align, and there's somebody if you're still invested, there's somebody you can keep communicating with on an ongoing basis is really important.
so it's not like y'all are
Correct.
invested. It's not we're gonna stay in touch with y'all for a year
And I
and
would
then we're
say
done.
ideas
Like
for
y'all will
guys that
continue
are,
that for a while. It's
um,
interesting.
what I want to say.
All
Looking,
right.
so we meet a lot of guys in
Um,
different things, and they're like, "Oh, you guys buy companies. I want to buy a company. How does that go?" And so we always give advice. There's two things you have to do. You have to build a relationship with a banker that's going to lend you money, right? They all tell you. I mean, I don't know how many no's we heard, but if 100 is
Yeah,
well over
it's well
100,
over 100.
but people told us no, well over 100. We just never took no personally, and we just kept going. Two, understand the brokers. Like if I'm going to sell my business, dealing with all the
wow.
brokers that we have had dealt with, only a couple. There's three or four that I would ever consider, and everyone else is no good. We probably call, reach out, text, email 25 brokers on deals and get one that gets back to us. And it blows my
Mhm.
mind because I think of these companies trying to sell that they think there's brokers out there working for them and they won't even reply. Right. It's
Really?
like we've got it right now. I mean, I think we look constantly every
Every day.
day. Every day we look at the new stuff and we're
They got a lazy
submitting,
broker.
submitting, 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 and
Yeah.
boom, we don't get anything. No, nothing. And we're like, dude, we called. One guy we called and texted each 9 times. We were both in one day. Spencer's texting and calling. I'm texting and calling. Nothing. Nothing. It's
Wow.
crazy. So if you're going to sell your business, make sure you get a broker that replies, that will be honest with you, and not overinflate the value of your business. So
It's
just so he
crazy.
can get your business. And because everyone thinks their business is worth a ton, it's not the top line. It's not how many vehicles you have. It's not how much equipment you have in the shop. It is your bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
That dictates the value of your business. They got to understand that. So many, like less than 1% of the companies we ever look at are actually making money. And they've been in business for 40 years, 30 years. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys aren't sleeping.
Right.
They're not sleeping. I don't know how they're making payroll. I don't know how they do this stuff. And so it's
Wow.
those things. So it's like people that want to buy a business or sell a business. And if you're going to buy a business,
Go. Yeah.
be patient because those troubles we have, they're going to have the same
And
ones.
if you're going to sell, whoever you're considering selling, go online and ask for information on their listings. If they have other businesses currently listed, and just see how long it takes them to respond back to you. Because that's going to be a huge indicator when your business is listed with them. How fast are they going to respond to people interested in buying your business?
Ooh, that's great advice.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, that's a great way. I was just trying to think, how could you test them? But that's the best way to do it. Wow. I love, yeah, that's some great advice. I'm just thinking through all of that kind of stuff.
In the service
You had said
industry, you
something
got to
about
have
how to
service
make yourself
software.
more
You just
Yes.
have to.
marketable.
I mean,
Is
it
there anything
is
else
Yes.
besides
it is such a
your
difficult
bottom line
process if
that
you
makes you
don't.
more marketable?
And it also keeps better records for you than you're ever going to keep with paper. Uh, and I mean, if you're 55 plus and you own a business, start talking to brokers right now. Even if retirement seems like I'm not going to do it for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Start talking to them now because you can clean up your books. I I I know it never happens, but sometimes people will whatever cash they get, it never ends up in their bank account. And then when they go to sell, oh well, last year I took $30,000 and it's
Yeah,
not on my books. Well, we can't tell that to the bank. You're admitting that you're committing tax fraud. So, yeah, you got to clean it up. You got to put everything in the business. Take all your personal stuff out of it. So, if you're typically buying gas for
right,
yourself,
right.
remove it all out of the income statement so it's clean. So when you go to sell, it's truly what the business is doing, and it's not, oh, all my personal stuff's in here too, because some of that stuff the bank won't let you add it back because it was never supposed to be there in the first place. So they end up hurting themselves in not having those clean books. Yeah.
Mm, I see. You got to have clean books for sure. Well, I know I was talking
Yep.
to, we were talking to somebody and they're an $8 million
That's better
company
than
and
nothing.
Yeah.
We've seen that
they
too.
don't
Oh, I
have
just have
service software.
QuickBooks.
They're
It's
They
like,
at
using
least,
okay,
QuickBooks.
can we transfer that to the
Yeah,
service
I don't know how
titan, right? So it's like,
I don't
okay,
know
can we
how they've
transfer
done
that?
that
Okay,
this
all right,
long.
let's work on that. But
Yeah.
yeah. And
Uh,
when,
yeah, and know your customer count and know how many maintenance contracts you
yeah.
actually
I mean, it's
have
just
instead of a
information.
lot.
It's not a
Or we had
CRM.
one
So
guy who
it's
said,
just kind of
"Hey, yeah,
crazy.
all my contacts are on my phone. All my customers, I have 2,700 contacts on my phone. That's how many customers I have." And I'm like, "Oh boy, oh boy." No.
Yeah. That's a problem. So you were like, buy him. I can really improve that. We also had somebody we ran across and they weren't offering maintenance plans. And so we were like, okay, you got to start offering maintenance
No,
plans. And
I wouldn't
so
say it's a major thing
is
for
that
us. Just
something like,
customer
is there a
base
certain percentage you're
and how
looking
they're
for
performing on their
when
calls
you're
because we
acquiring
know
them? Is
we
that
can
and
right?
how
affect
many
those
calls they've
things.
ran in the last 3 years is
Yeah.
very important over
Uh-huh.
comfort
Yeah.
clubs or whatever maintenance agreements that they have. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because you tell us, I'd say,
Yeah,
how
it
many
doesn't matter if
calls
they're in
did
the
you
club
run
if
last
they
year? Oh, a lot.
haven't run
I
any
mean, that's
service
the
calls
number
to
one
them
statement we
or
get.
anybody.
How many
So
service
yeah.
calls did you run last year?
Okay.
A lot.
Wow, this is really great. Okay.
Okay. I don't know. That doesn't help me. That's that doesn't. I can't quantify that. So you got to give
A
me a
lot.
number. So I mean, so those things there. I want all the guys to be able to sell their business. I've been in HVAC since I started in 1988. I've been in this industry forever. I love it. It's been a great career for me. I failed more than anyone, but you just keep getting back up every time you do. And these guys that I see be out there forever, they just gotta. It's a business, man. It's a business. You got to have something to sell at the end of the day. If you're not selling it, I know you didn't make money your whole career. It's, you may have a truck and you're making payments on these things, but I want them all to succeed, and we want them, every one of them, to be successful. Every one of them to sell for top dollar. Because we get guys that will say, "Well, I think it's worth this," and you always want to buy it. We're like, "Well, go get a broker, and they'll tell you, and then let's talk." Because I want you to have a fair price for your business. I don't want to take you, and I don't want you to take me. Go get a price. And so, well, I got to pay him 10%, but I'll guarantee he's going to get you 30% more than what you think you're getting.
Mhm.
So, yeah, yeah.
Well, if unless you do this a lot, you really need to have wise counsel. It's just like having an attorney or having a CPA. Like you don't know what you don't know. So I think that's really great advice. And I don't think, I don't
Yeah.
see very many business brokers at the BNI clubs. So, they probably do need to go and do some research on that. So that's great advice. What do you guys see is going to happen with the future of HVAC?
I think it'll still be
Is
great.
it
AI, we're
how's
using AI.
AI going to
We
affect it?
have AI
What about
listen
all
to
the
our calls and
new
give a
regulations
curbside
and stuff? What
feedback
do
to our
y'all
techs
see
after every
the
call.
future looking
We have
like?
AI help answer the phone because we did an analysis and we were missing a lot of calls, and so doesn't necessarily replace everything, but it helps answer the phone so we don't miss calls. So I think it's going to be helpful. Regulations
Yeah.
are always going to be there. Stupid people that don't know anything about HVAC making rules that don't even make sense. That's always going to happen. Because in theory, things are great, but in reality, I don't know how you're going to deal with those things, but whatever. It's still a customer service game. You got to take care of your customers. The service level matters more than anything else. Not how much knowledge I know or anything.
I
It's
think
your
the
service
technical
level with
side
the
will get
customers.
easier. Technical side will get easier and easier as they start putting more AI into systems. But that also makes it more and more expensive. Where you're not going to need to know how to diagnose everything because this computer system will do it for you. But it's still that customer service side of it, because at the end of the day, if your capacitor is bad, well, the computer might tell you that, but that doesn't mean a homeowner knows how to change it. So they're still going to call a professional to come out and fix it at the end of the day. So then you just have to have that high level of service.
Right. Yeah. Our capacitor went out. My husband's an engineer. He's like, it's probably a $17 capacitor. And I said, I know, but we have all these guests coming and there's no AC HVAC capacitor store to go to. So call them, you know? So he did, and we got it back up and running. So that was good. What do you think about, like, I heard somebody talking about the Amazonification of the industry and people, getting quotes
I think it's been
online
going
and
on for a
ordering
while.
parts
We have
online and things like
customers.
that.
Oh, I
What do
bought
y'all
this part,
see
and then you get
is
there
going
and
to
it's the
happen
wrong
with
part.
that? Any
They don't know how
thoughts?
to install it. They try and do it themselves, and then you get there and it's all torn apart. You're going to have those that there's less people that actually know how to do things today than
Or
30
they
years
watch
ago.
the wrong
Like,
video on YouTube.
so I don't think it's going to,
and they think they know what they're doing, and then it just doesn't go
yeah.
the way the video went. Oh, it was,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, this took them 10 minutes on this
The
video.
wrong YouTube video. Yeah.
So,
Yes.
It looks pretty simple. It's just a
Yeah.
box, right? So, yeah. Well, hey, y'all are so wise and you have so much knowledge, and it's obvious that you guys really get in and research and have done the hard work. And I appreciate you guys sharing that with all the people listening and with me. I think it's incredibly valuable. We'll go ahead and end here. And I just want to thank you guys again. To our listeners, hey, thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe. We'll have some more insights, more stories, and tips from leaders in our HVAC and home services industry. And so until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep exploring.